Yeah, you better freaking keep driving, boy. And you have your garage door open for just like 10 minutes with some tools here, and people just want to eyeball you. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about and answer a question I get pretty often, and that is, why don't I own anything Festool? And it has nothing to do with the price. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm here in my garage kind of doing the weekly clean out. If you work out of a truck or a van, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You let this stuff go for a few days and the truck is just a mess. And yeah, I gotta kind of take this stuff out, reorganize it, get it back where it goes, and then kind of get it back in its place. But before we get started, let's just talk about the tool that is used the least. And that's going to be this bench press over here. I just got to be honest with you. No, but really, I thought I would do a quick video. I get the question a lot, why don't I own anything Festool? People watch my videos and they see, you know, the big players, Dewalt and Milwaukee, which is the majority of everything I own. Pretty much all my heavy duty stuff is Dewalt or Milwaukee. I have a few rigid things kind of in there, but I'm going to give you a quick just tour if you're new to my channel and you don't know about like all the tools that I have. Basically, this is my router table. This is a Sommerfeld router table. It's a great tool, extruded aluminum, has an awesome fence. It's like the biggest router table on the market, and it's a beast. And I got that paired up on a 3.5 horsepower Milwaukee router. And this is a rigid rolling miter saw stand that honestly I would stay away from. It kind of falls apart, but it makes for a great router table, portable. And then moving over here, we got my Dewalt 12-inch DHS 790. I'm not a geek when it comes to model numbers, but I do know that one. Next up, we got the 7.25 Milwaukee, all around favorite miter saw, but it can't do the capacity that this one can. So this one you'll see me using more because we're cutting big moldings, 7-inch crowns, 7-inch bases. This is not going to hang with that. Next up, we got the Milwaukee M18 table saw, brand new, fuel with 1 key, but a great machine. Just started using it and it's amazing. I recommend it. So far so good. Then we've got my flexible, oh, and on that Milwaukee, we got Milwaukee's stand that comes that is made for that table saw. It doesn't come with it. Then we got the flexible 60 volts, the table saw. Great machine. These are very comparable, and I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Craig stand for that one. The Craig stand is pretty cool. Nice little workbench. A little awkward to haul around, especially if you're using a pickup truck like me. And then one of my least used tools besides the bench press is going to be this Dewalt Planer. We don't use it a lot, but when we need it, we freaking need it, because when we're using the stain grade stuff, we need to get those chatter marks out of the wood, and that does it. And chainsaw just for around the house. Obviously this thing doesn't get used, it just got stuff stacked on it. There is my GX19 Finish Pro Graco, which you saw me making videos about recently if you follow the channel. And then we got pass load. Kind of retired that one because I got sick of buying the fuel cells for it when these things came out. And these are just amazing machines. This is organized right here. I just dig this stuff out, set it here. And I know that gives some of you guys a heart attack, but that's kind of how that right there is pretty much how my brain works too. Like, I can remember stuff that people told me without writing it down. Like in the 6-7 years that I've been doing this, I literally take like maybe a few notes a week, and I'm like always on time to the estimates, and it's just crazy. Like, I don't know, it's so weird. But there's some jig stuff here. Those are like hubs for my tires over there. That's a planer, a Bosch planer that my grandma gave me when my grandpa died. That was his, and I've already used it a lot. Pretty cool too. I like using that because it kind of reminds me of him when I use it. I think about him. Those are track tubes right there. This guy sent me those. They're like aluminum 2x4s, and they're awesome. You can do a lot with them. He has some pretty cool stuff. Then there's another stand there. But yeah, that's kind of everything that goes into my truck. It doesn't all go in at once. Obviously, the router table is not going to go in with everything else. But that's a quick rundown. I just wanted you to see that so I can talk to you about the situation at hand, or the question at hand. All right, so I'm going to sit down to do this video. I usually don't just talk to a tripod, and you know, I like doing the job site videos, so don't expect this very often. But why don't I own anything Festool? I've never used it. I mean, that's it. That's the answer. I've never used the stuff. I started in the trade on Dewalt, Milwaukee, and just Harbor Freight stuff. And my first boss, a lot of what he bought was just Harbor Freight, like Chicago Electric stuff. But we got great results with it because it's not the tools that make the work. It's you that makes the work. And while I prefer black and yellow and red tools, that doesn't mean you can't get the same results with Makita, with Bosch. I mean, people just get so crazy and cult-like over tools. I mean, does it cut wood? I mean, does it cut wood? That's like all I want to know. If it cuts wood, hand it to me. I can get something done. Oh, but he doesn't have this. No, I don't care. I started out with Chicago Electric tools with my first boss. The biggest problem with those tools is that they fall apart. It's not that you can't get quality cuts from them. I could bring someone who has never used tools, give them this, you know, Dewalt miter saw, and give them like the Harbor Freight Hercules, which actually looks pretty good. If you check it out, the Harbor Freight Hercules miter saw, it looks good. So I'm not like, I love tools. Like you know, from everything you just seen, you know, this guy loves tools. But I don't get cult-like followings. I have no brand loyalty. You know, I have my two preferences, you know, Dewalt and Milwaukee, but hand me a Makita, hand me a Bosch, hand me whatever. I have rigid stuff. Oh, rigid's just crap, it's not professional. I don't know, I get professional results with it, so. Is it rigid's crap or are you crap? Like, that's really what, it just blows my mind how people just get so cultish on these tools. Now with Festool, since that's like kind of what this video is about, right? I've never used this stuff, so I don't know like if it's worth the money. Now I will say this, Festool tools, they're not expensive. Like for their Capex miter saw, $1,500, people are like, that's so expensive, I could never, that's cheap. They could charge way more for that thing. I think Dewalt and Milwaukee could charge more too. I mean, you got to think about it. This isn't do-it-yourself in the garage stuff we're talking about. This is like contractor, professional stuff we're talking about. Like when people say like, oh, that tool's too expensive. To me, it just sounds like you don't take it serious. The Capex, which is their miter saw, if you're not familiar with it, is like $1,500. It's not that bad. The domino jig, I think it's like $800 or $900. I have no need for one, but if I did, what's $900 that's going to give me a mortise and tenon strength joint that's like in a minimal amount of time? Like compared to a mortise and tenon, this domino jig is going to give me that strength in like a fraction of the time. Your time is valuable on the job site. So for you to like not be willing to spend the money to save time, which time is money, and getting good results, that to me is like confusing. But for these tools, I get the results I want. So if I'm on a job site and someone has a Capex miter saw, I may ask them to try it. And if I like it, I might get one. But for me, I just haven't had an opportunity to use one. But we got to remember that the tools are important, but they're not everything. Like everything is your hands, like your mind, and like what you do, like your work ethic. That is really like where it lies. Because before there was even electricity, houses and mansions were built with hand tools. And those things are still standing today. And those guys were craftsmen. So we got to get over this whole tool thing of like brand loyalty. And I know Festool has like a cult-like following, but I don't buy into that stuff. Does it cut wood? That's what I want to know. And then from there, how good does it cut wood? Is it going to fall apart? You know, we can get into all that. But I think it's just overemphasized how the brand, you know, and everyone has their preferences, you know. You know, people say, oh, you know, Milwaukee sold out to the Chinese, and like, I don't care. Like, to me, you may say, oh, that's un-American, you know, you should care, you know, Dewalt just did this, you know. I don't have enough time to like keep up with the politics of tool companies. I'm not a shareholder in any company. I'm trying to like work. I have a family and kids. Like, this tool thing has just gotten ridiculous. Like, oh, I don't like Milwaukee because they're all sold out. It's the I don't know. I don't get into all that. I like Milwaukee. I like DeWalt. I like Rigid. I like pretty much every brand. I have no problems with. I think the one we all kind of genuinely hate is like professionals is Ryobi, right? But even that, like Ryobi, you can get good. Ryobi has actually gotten pretty good lately. It's crazy. And they look exactly like Rigid. So anyways, I'm kind of going on a rant, but that's why when people ask me why I don't own Festool, it's because I never use this stuff. I didn't grow up with it. My dad never had it. My bosses never had it. And it's not accessible. Like, it's at Woodcraft, but I don't go to Woodcraft often, and I already have miter saws. I'm constantly going to Home Depot, and I like the tools that I have. Now, one thing I did look up when I was going to make this video is that Festool, like, I wondered, do they even make cordless tools? Because I'm not familiar with this company. And they make a handful of cordless tools. They make like a track saw, a jigsaw, some drills, a light, a radio. This is all from their website. Now, to me, as someone who's in the field a lot, and I need several tools, I want a bigger cordless platform than that. So, I mean, right there, I'm not even interested in the brand because the cordless platform is weak, in my opinion. You know, hopefully they come out with more stuff, you know, for their users, but I need blowers, I need multi-tools, I need nail guns, and it's nice to have that all on the same battery platform where you can just bust this stuff out, have everything charging, just grab it and go. And it just seems like they just need more cordless stuff. That's why I don't own Festool. If someone asks me that again, I'll just send them to this video. You are what's most important when it comes to this stuff. But don't say that Festool is too expensive either, because it's really not. If that's what you feel you need to get professional results, then get it. I have what I need that I feel gets professional results. So that's enough for the ranting. Hopefully you enjoyed this rant inside my mind that looks like that Foot Locker back there. But yeah, I think I should probably try to work out a little bit. So I'll see y'all next time. Take care.